Hey, Andy and Jamie, what's going on?
Hey, Scott. Thank you very much, buddy. Hi, Jamie. How are you?
Andy, Scott, hello. Hello to everybody out there in the audience as well. Happy Thursday.
Yes, yes. Hello to everybody. It looks like we're going to have a decent crowd again. So that's great. Once again, I always like to thank everyone for taking time out of your day to join us. I think we got some good content for you today. I think we're going to have fun doing some stuff that I think you'll find interesting. So let's dive in. And before we do, let's go over the disclaimer. Okay, we are content publishers here at Trade Ideas. Okay, we're not, trying to get you to invest in any particular instrument. That being a stock, a bond, or anything like that. This is for educational purposes only. If you are looking for investment advice, you want to seek somebody who has a license, like a stockbroker or an IRA or IA, I should say. A registered advisor, that would be. But I think that covers that. Before we get into all the fun stuff, I do want to go over our very important support, education, and training here that we have at Trade Ideas. Realize that, but I think you're going to find it very intuitive in various ways. One of the ways is our traders room. Okay, that's moderated by Barry Anderson. He does a great job. I don't know how he does it. He can have 500 people in there, and he maintains a very tight ship, great chat room, keeps out all the trading room, keeps out all the riffraff, and not only that, there's some great traders, including Barry. You get to see the software, and here's the kicker: it's free for everyone. Okay, you do not have to be a TI subscriber. We think that you will eventually be using it and making profits in the marketplace. We have webinars Monday through Thursday in this same time slot. Okay, so it's always a good place to come. We encourage interaction. We do have some content to go over, but we will have time for your questions. Jamie and Scott will help out, so feel free to drop a question if you have one in the chat, in the questions panel. All right, and the support webinar every Monday through Friday at 12 Eastern time. And boy, we're getting a lot of people come in there and asking some great questions. They're loving it. They're getting a lot of good answers. And what's great about this, and versus sending an email or coming to our online chat, is you have a visual. Okay, we use GoToWebinar just like we do now. It's actually a live stream on. It's not a GoToWebinar. It's a live stream on YouTube. So you do have a chat questions panel, and not only that, so you can see when you ask a question, we can demonstrate for you. So a great place to come, Monday through Friday, 12 Eastern time. Like to always touch on this, our simulated trader. Still very excited about this. It's a interface that we have built into Trade Ideas. It's a great module to test your trading strategies, your portfolio management skills. You do not need to have a broker connection. You do not need to fund an account. And we call it Brokerage Plus, and it is a very cool interface, and I think you should check it out, especially if you're new to trading. Okay, you want to play with this thing for several months, not dive in with real money. All right, so you want to learn how to trade by paper trading, and we provide the module for you. So it's really cool. No extra money. Okay, just have to have a Trade Idea subscription. All right, the agenda for today is going to be market recap, Holly recap. We always like to cover these two things. People like to get, since we're all the guys here, all the traders here just have hundreds of years accumulated together, trading the, I shouldn't say hundreds, but it's well over 100 with all the good traders here. So a lot of people like to get our market recap, and we also encourage you, toward the end here, if you have any questions about a chart you want us to take a look at, we'll be happy to look at that for you. Jamie's going to take care of the Holly recap, and then we're going to use a tool that Trade Ideas has, and it's called Stocks Like This. And we're going to look for a daily setup, and we're going to use NIO, N-I-O, as an example. I think many of you know, if you've been on any of my webinars, that I was saying I was in this. It was my biggest position, and this is way before it took off. And so we're going to use that as an example and see if we can try to find more setups. We're going to be using the powerful position and range features I always talk about. So that's going to be a fun exercise. But right now, let's back out and let's pull up the SPY chart. There's a look at Tesla. Things up like, what, 1,000% or something over the last 6 months. All right, let's pull up the SPYs, and we got.
Hey, Andy.
Go ahead.
Okay, there we go. There was your stack was up there blocking the view, but you're good now.
Okay. All right, so we got the SPYs here, and once again, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. We are just all-time highs. Though I love to keep these positioning ranges in there to let me know where a stock or an ETF or index may be, and you can see its position in lifetime range. We're at all-time highs in the SPYs. Same can be said about the Qs. A little bit actually finished down today on the Qs. There was some profit taking in some of the big caps. It's had a huge move. The Apples and Facebooks. Surprised Tesla didn't see a little bit more today, but the Qs did finish slightly down. If we take a look at the SPYs, they finished up slightly. Doji, we'll have to see if that means anything. We are kind of getting really extended here, and it's always good to be cautioned. I sold a lot today just because, man, we just you get this far away from your 50, and just been a tear up above the 10. Doesn't mean we can't just keep going, but it's always good to be cautious. A lot of times a little doji like this can be the start of a potential reversal, and but I'm not going to call it. You also had one right here. But that was after sideways action. This is after we've had 6 great days again, just motoring higher. So you got to keep out with this. Keep an eye out on this little doji here. If you do have a reversal, in other words, takes out that low tomorrow, we could see a move back to test this 10-period moving average. But other than that, boy, there's not a whole lot to be said. As far as a bear case, I'm not even going to go there at all, because other than a little red on the day in the Qs, it really doesn't mean anything. I was looking at the IWM, and I think you're gonna find this strange today, because this one actually pulls up on my alert that we're going to create this afternoon. So it's going to be fun. So if the other averages keep going, you can see today did it get over that high right there. You got a high of 156.82. Today was 157, so it did take it, no follow through, but you might want to keep an eye on this one. It is kind of, especially if the other the Qs and the SPYs keep going. A lot of times we do have kind of a nice little wedge building right here, so we could see some pop above that. But boy, this has been stubborn over the last several years. All right, Jamie, I don't have a whole lot to add to the markets. You want to throw in your 2 cents, or got anything to say?
What's that little 2010 sandwich on those moving averages right there on the IWM?
Oh, 2010 sandwich. Let me take a look. Yeah, you're right. In between the 10. Could not get above it, stay above it today, and there's the 20. So yeah, we have a little in-between sandwich, and also a beautiful little wedge there that I'm sure a lot of people, when it went to highs today, thought, oh boy, this is the move. But it's been a stubborn one. For some reason, small caps are just not in favor. It's all the big boys.
That is true. A lot of big retailers hitting all-time highs as of late as well.
Oh yeah. All right, well, you want to take it and go over a few Holly trades? I know there were some shorts making money today. I noticed.
Yeah, that was the interesting thing. So let me grab it here, and I think I'm experiencing a little bit of lag, and you'll have to tell me if I start lagging. Let me know. Let me find my little pointer. Channel bar, we can see all the AI totals based around 100 shares per trade. Shorts right here, or 4 shorts, I should say. OSUR coming out pretty hot today. This one just was cranking as soon as the AI threw the signal out there. AI in paper mode each and every day, just so I can track and look and see what the simulated slippage is and all that good stuff. But even in demo mode today, I did not get filled. And I will point this out. That is one of the benefits of Brokerage Plus. And, you know, if you do have the inclination to run Holly in auto mode, obviously you want to spend some time in demo mode first. And it does a really good job because this stock was moving so fast. By the time my rather aggressive limit with a, I believe I'm using -8 delta, still didn't get it because the price already moved past that. So, you know, it's just like in real trading when you're using automation, sometimes you don't get the biggest winner. So just always something to keep in the back of your mind as you're interacting with Brokerage Plus and you start thinking about automation, Holly automation, or maybe it's just your own automation of your own strategies. But these are just some of the things that can happen in the auto world. So not a lot of time to get into this one, but it did end up being a pretty big percentage winner on conservative mode here. We can see 16.42% getting out right down here at this level where you can see a little buy signal here. And then pretty timely exit. It just grinded kind of back up today. But as far as what we typically like to talk about, trade arounds, which are some of the Holly trades that stopped out, how they act around that stop area. Typically, we like to see them ebb and flow around the stop area. But when we look at all the ones today, like this one right here, man, it just cratered right through it and was well below it for most of the day, so it never really sized up. You know, what we like to see is we like to see them kind of ebb and flow and have that stop area act as a pivot point. Not necessarily the case there or in any of the other trade arounds go. Not very fruitful in that area as well. I had my eye on this one early on, V&E. Looked like it might hold, but no, it cratered down too. So when they do this, you know, they're just not that attractive. We want them to ebb and flow and then finally tighten up and go back up either to the entry signal and hopefully sometimes beyond. But today, we'll just say that that animal was not present in the forest and none of those guys were acting in that capacity today, and that's just the nature of trading. Maybe tomorrow will be a different day for trade arounds. The other thing that we like to typically point out here is the difference between conservative profit and moderate profit. And we can see right here, there was a little bit of spread in these trades, okay? Not in this one, not in this one. Spread in 4 trades. It's just things to point out here. Kind of a relatively high trade count for Holly, kicking out 19 signal. We should start to see, and as Andy was pointing out, most of the money today came from the short side, which is also another odd thing to point out. But then again, look at the intraday action of the SPY today, okay? You know, hey, all-time highs, and then we get this type of action throughout the day. Not the easiest of markets to trade, a lot of back and forth, and this kind of confirms exactly that. But having said that, AKER, we see the original entry signal right here at 337, nice and early, and then pretty much after that, we get that maximum profit potential, and even if we held it into the close, we would have made considerably more, you know, a little over a 3x than just getting out with Holly in conservative mode. And by the way, when you see Holly exiting, if you think there's a little bit more juice left in that trade based on the intraday, or maybe you're consulting the daily, trying to pick out some areas that might, you know, act as potential support. And, you know, look at where this one kind of put in the bottom today, all the way back here to this big green bar back from, looks like April 6th or so. So it might be an interesting one to keep an eye on tomorrow. Maybe we get a little bounce action. If it tightens up at this level to tomorrow, well, then it might have a little bit more downside. This one did have quite a bit of volume coursing through it today. We can see relative volume 6.53. And, you know, while we're on that topic, you know, it is a pretty good idea sometimes to, or not sometimes, get in the habit of seeing the ones that moved really well with Holly on the day of and continuing to track them moving forward, or maybe even looking at them for swing trade potential. And, you know, 8 and 68, let's see, I don't know, a little over 6x on that one. Well, a little bit higher than that actually. But in any case, DLTR, entry signal coming right here. I like this. I like the way this one shaped up because it just held the signal line there, and then over the course of the next hour, gave it up. kind of presented another opportunity down here to add to the position, but you would have had to really be patient for most of the day because it didn't really give it up until the last 15 minutes. So a lot of the times these can present what I like to call add-on opportunities, which technically this fits the bill. It just didn't pay a whole lot, but nonetheless, a pretty good signal from Holly. And just ignoring the exit signal, we could have stayed in there and made a nice multiple of about, I don't know, a little over 9 times what she pulled out there, or right at a little less than 9 times, I should say. And then we got one more, but check it out here. Dual signals in Dollar Tree here. So first signal, actually got them backwards here. First signal back here, second signal here, one little add opportunity here. But as far as a nice seller in there, just didn't have a lot of, just took its time most of the day here and didn't really release until late in the day. And that's pretty much it, Andy. I mean, we got $8 a spread in Ruth, but you know, I'm more interested in hearing about your process that you're going to put everybody through today using stocks like this.
That
So
sounds good, Jamie. Yeah. Pass it back over.
So just kind of a lackluster day with Holly today. It looks kind of like some of my trading blotters sometimes. Little over trading, and you know, wait for the next day.
Yep, I know those days, that's for sure. Yeah, so what I want to talk about, so what I'm doing today, I'm looking, I'm thinking, you know what, that NEO was a beautiful setup, you know, and I talked about it, I mentioned it in a couple of webinars. I know I told all the traders here about it, and some of them definitely participated, but I was looking at this NEO, and I was actually keeping my eye on it after earnings. This was the earnings day right here. You had a gap up and a lot of selling. But I told myself, you know, I try to not let that bog my thinking on what a stock's doing, because it didn't take off after earnings. I was okay with that because I still love the pattern. Because what you had here on this day right here, you had, get my pen going again, this is what we call a gap and go. Okay, that was a gap day. It was a multi-month high right there, and then you had another gap day, and then you had a nice move higher out of a range. So you had this move out of a range. And then what has been happening over the last 2 months is a beautiful wedge pattern. After you've moved higher, and that's not too bad. So there was your wedge. So I was keeping an eye on this after earnings, and once on this day right here when it popped up, I think I bought it on that day. I think I added some more on this day right here, so I had a pretty good position in here. And once again, let me scroll out so you can get the true picture of what's going on here. Okay, so you had a big move, even going back here when it finally got above $5. I mean, a big move, and the stock was holding these levels even after basically doubling. That just tells me there's a lot of strength, you know, in that stock. I mean, to basically double and then just kind of wedge for 2 months, and then it had earnings, and then it was going sideways again. And of course, the kicker for me also was the fact that this is a kind of the Chinese Tesla, if you will. Tesla's just been on a tear. We know what it's been doing since for the last 6 months. So I'm sure there was, you know, a lot of people interested, thinking, oh gosh, is this going to be the next Tesla or something like that? So a great trade for me. I've don't pay any attention. This is just me day trading it today, that buy and sell button, but in my paper account. But you know, I've scalped out of 2/3. I'm holding on to 1/3 of this, and just in case it wants to get Tesla stupid, which it might. What I'm thinking today, I said, well, gosh, that was such a beautiful pattern. I love that pattern so much. Let me see if we can use stocks like this, you know, to have a trouble with that. Stocks like this. Let's see if we can use that to create and find more opportunity. Now, I was telling Jamie earlier, just because we might see some similar setups to this, it does not mean they're going to have this kind of move. There's probably, you know, after earnings, there's just a lot going on with this stock at the time. So, but still, it's a nice pattern, and let's see what we can do with it. So and all you really need to do is to find it the easy way is just type in stocks like this, trade ideas, okay? And then we'll just go right there, and we'll start working on this. All right, so the day I want to focus on is right here, okay, where, you know, I could go back to right here, but let's just go back to right here, okay, because I think we'll probably get the same kind of data. So this is on August 21st. Okay, so we're going to come back in here to stocks like this. We're going to type in the symbol, NEO, and we are going to put the date, August 21st. And when you're looking for what we're looking for, it's not real important to have the right 5-minute bracket. You can see this is going to do a 5-minute time. It's okay. I'm just going to put it on 12:30 my time, which is pretty much midday, because we're looking for position and ranges. Okay, we're looking at the daily chart. So what it's doing intraday, I'm not too concerned with. So let's just fire it off, submit, and what it'll do, it'll go out and show you all the filters that were satisfied during this time period. Okay, let me squeeze it in because we're going to use this and build a little alert here. All right, so what I want to focus on is the position and ranges. I like to tell people, guys, if you can imagine a chart, like I say this over and over, in your head, you can almost build it, perfectly with our position and ranges. So we're going to scroll down. See, it's giving you every filter that was satisfied. And we're going to go down, and I always went past it, didn't I? There's position. There we go. Position and ranges. All right, so let's launch. Put that over there. Let's launch a new top list. Doesn't need to be an alert. We're just looking for those patterns, looking for those stocks. We're going to start from scratch. And let's first put in the price parameters that I always like to put in. I just want everything has to be above $5. And we'll do 500,000 shares as a minimum average daily volume the last 10 days. And that's basically it. We're going to keep this, we're not going to try to add too many filters in here. We just want to find these daily chart patterns. So I'm thinking, let me go back to the, oh, I can't do that. I got to do that. So anyway, imagine I'd have to leave this to go back into my chart. So just bear with me. The position and ranges that are important to me are going to be the 5-day, the 10-day, and the 3-month. Okay, and that's because in this chart that we're seeing here, it comprises all of those areas. All right, so let's go in here and look at a 5-day range. Well, you can see here the minimum. Okay, this is a min max column right here. Let me zoom up, min and max, so we can see that in our filters. Same thing, we have a min max, so we're going to go to position and 5-day range. Okay, and you can see here that the min was 72 and the max was 75. Okay, so pretty tight there, in the 5-day range, which is fine. So what I'm going to do is we're just going to do a position in 5-day range. We're just going to use 70. Let's just put 70 in there, just to make sure we get that. It's above. We want it at the upper end of its 5-day range. We don't want this. We're looking for potentially explosive stock, so obviously we don't want it at the bottom. All right, 10-day range. Now this one I want to be a little bit tighter. Okay, so let's take a look at the 10-day range, and we got a position in 10-day range. Looks like from 53, and the max is 55. Well, I don't want to make it that tight. See, you're going to find a problem if you start putting in these min and max exactly, because what you're going to find out what's happening is you're not going to pull up very much data at all. So we need to kind of keep these flexible. So for me, I'm thinking I definitely want a minimum. I want it in the upper portion, upper half anyway of its 10-day range. But I do want to max it out, okay? Because if I look at NEO, you're going to see it was nowhere near its 10-day range. So I am going to max this out, and I'm going to max it out at 75, okay? So we can get a nice little window there where it's at the upper portion of its 5-day range, but it's kind of upper / not anywhere near its high. You can see for the 5-day range, it could be at the high of the 5-day range. That's okay, but we just don't want it real close to that 10-day high to get that same chart as we got in NEO. And the next one I want to do is a position in 3-month. All right, so the 3-month range here is a min of 82 and a max of 82.8. So this, you can see, this is kind of in a tight range there. This where it's currently trading at now on this day. Obviously, this is just at this day. So we're going to use, it was 82. So we're going to relax it just a little bit and just use regular 75. So just make sure it's in the upper portion of its 3-month range, if that makes sense. Make sure I'm getting, Jamie, is there any questions? I see some coming in from Jim. Is there anything I need to answer right there?
I think we were just talking about different columns. I was answering for him. No, please
no problem.
continue.
I just want to make sure. I just saw them coming through. I didn't read them. So, all right. So we just use stocks like this, and we're just, looking for these ranges. And now what we're going to do, I think that's pretty much all we have to do. Let's do a position in year range too. We want to find stocks that are strong. Okay. So let's do a position in year range. Okay. And let's see what she has. Position in year range for NEO was 84 that day. Okay, we're going to come off just a little bit, but let's make sure it's in the top 20% of its yearly range. Okay, so now I think we're going to possibly get some decent charts that look very similar to NEO. Let me add some columns in here so we can take a look. Let's add price. Let's add change from the close is always a good one. Maybe a little relative volume. We don't need relative volume because we're, let's just go ahead and add that. I always like to see what a stock's doing, relative volume. Show column. And then we'll add got change from close. The main ones I want to see is, let's do a position in 3-month range, and then let's do a position in of course, we're going to be able to kind of look at a chart and see all this, but that's okay. It's nice to be able to see it in the window. Let's add a position in year range. Change from the close, relative volume, and I think that's about it. I don't think there's a whole other columns. And we'll add a little window name. We'll just call this nice setup. All right. And it's funny, I got real fortunate. The other day, I bought NEO on this pullback right here to the 20 period. NEO, this builder on this 20 period moving average. And of course, this never happens, but I got a nice little merger deal this morning. But anyway, I thought it was funny that this chart actually appeared. I'm in this, and it actually appeared in this the same looking chart as kind of like NEO. So
that's a good sign.
That is a good sign. All right, so let's where'd my year range go? Let me make this a little bit bigger so you guys can see it good here. And spread out some of these columns. Make it hard on your eyes there. All right. So we got some charts in here. Let's see if anything's shaping up. Now I don't know what's going on there. Probably not one of my favorite ones. And you know what? I hope I didn't do something wrong like I did that one time, because I definitely had some decent looking. There's a pretty decent one right there. Now I ran this earlier in the day, but I'm thinking something. But that's kind of the pattern there. You got a nice move up. Here's your move up. And that's the beautiful thing about scans. Some things you look at, you're going to think, and other ones you're going to do. But here's your move up there, kind of like, NEO had a move up, okay? And now it's been kind of pulled back some, and now you kind of got a little bit of a wedge here that is trying to break out of. Little flag pattern there. Let me, UBS, yeah, I can kind of see that. Not one that I'm crazy about trading, but a lot of gaps in this, obviously, in a ADR there. Home Depot, see, Lowe's and Home Depot are both on here. Probably, here's the problem when you use these position and ranges, okay? You're going to get a lot of stuff like this just because, it's fulfilling all your filters. But what you can do is look through and then find, here's possibly a decent good setup there. Here's a stock that's had a nice move, okay? But now what do you see? It's kind of forming that same type of pattern we're talking about. This is one I definitely keep an eye on. you know, you got a nice little wedge there, and you know, possibly can break out and move higher out of that. So you're definitely going to get these. Unfortunately, by the way it looks, maybe I could go in and tweak some stuff to where, you know, I'm not getting some of that other some of these other ones that are, you know, basically all-time high. There's a decent one. There you go. There you have a nice little wedge again. So we're definitely getting the pattern that we like in Neo. We're getting the stocks like this pattern. There's another great one, kind of a nice little wedge there. Keep an eye on. And don't worry, guys, I am going to share this with you. This is one that would not have been in there except for today. Today caused it probably at the close here for whatever reason. No, it was in the morning it popped, but one to keep an eye on. After selling off for several days, popped up, and you might want to see if there's any continuation after that. I'm interested to see what this Roku looks like. There you go. Could be a go pause that go there. You had a big day right here, a little inside day. Probably this got all the profit taking in some of the big tech stocks. They probably got Roku too, but this is definitely one to watch above this 3-day high. You know, if you're coming around and looking at this later, you might want to put price alerts to mark some of these up. Not a bad one there. Not crazy about that one. There you go. Kind of another little pattern there. And once again, you know, I am not looking at any of these salivating, thinking, oh boy, here's my next Neo. But this is the kind of stuff. So we are getting the pattern very similar. You had your move up right here for some time. Nice move right there, and now you're kind of wedging. You know, you might want to keep an eye on this if it does, you know, break out above that level right here. And I'm not going to share my price alerts, guys. I'm just going to give you this and you can do your own homework. But if it takes out today's high, maybe one to keep an eye on. And let's see, I'm getting more than what I did earlier, so I may have relaxed some of these filters, but there's another good one, very similar in pattern. But what a beautiful one right there. Just go ahead and mark that up above those 3 wicks and create you a price alert right there. Takes out this triple high, boom, we could be off to the races up to this 165 level. I hope you guys don't mind. There you go. You get, so you're seeing a lot of these same patterns. There's a nice little flag, little pennant right there, boom, boom. So that one's not quite like I like. That one, nah, not bad, not bad. There you go. So it is working. Okay, so what the key is to go through and find those setups that are very, very similar to what we saw in Neo there, because they can be very powerful, you know, once they start doing this flags pattern, especially over a good period of time. My feeling on these things when they flag, okay, the longer the period of time, sometimes the more explosive the move, you know. So, and also can be said about tightness as well, a lot of people believe. So let me do this, and hey, take this and tweak it. I'm going to go ahead and save it, and then after I do that, maybe we can come in here and even try to make it tighter real quick. But I'm going to go ahead and save this one for you and share it. And I'll drop it into the chat panel of our GoToWebinar interface, so you guys will have access of it. And not only did I show you this to give you a nice window that maybe you can find some good possible trades on, but also so you can see how you can use those position and range filters. And not only that, you can take it to the next step and start using just the range filters to create these consolidation patterns. And maybe we'll take a look at that here in just a minute so I can show you. But let me go ahead and share this. Okay, it is in the chat window. So what I'm talking about, let's say you had this, but you're saying, and you want to say to yourself, you know what, this is nice, but how can I find them, only the ones that are in a tight range over a 5-day period, kind of like this? Well, it's maybe not too, yeah, that's pretty tight. Well, here's what you can do. And this is another really great way to use our filters to create the chart that you're looking for. So let's go in here and go to configure. And we're going to go to 5-day range. 5-day range percentage. We're going to add this filter here, and let's start out with 5%. So we're going to come in here and we're going to put 5%. In other words, over the last 5 days, I do not want this thing to be out of a 5% range. Now, this could be down 2% and back up 3%. That would be a 5% range. Okay, it doesn't matter which direction. Okay, it just has to be no more than a 5% range over the last 5 days. Let's just make this little tweak right here and see what happens. See, we may just kill everything here. Nope, we still got some. So we're definitely getting, by doing that, we're going to get these ones that are in a little bit tighter of a range, like the ones we kind of like there. The problem is when these stocks at over $100, they don't look like they're in a tight range, but you can see it was only from 103 to 106, so it's definitely within the 5% range. I don't know if this one was a buyout or something. That's really just, man, it hasn't really gone anywhere in 4 months. I'm not sure what's going on there. But that's a way you could do it. Beautiful. That's the one we marked up. Nice, beautiful, tight range right there. Another one. So see just that little tweak right there in the 5-day range, how you can, man, a lot of these are just beautiful. So I'm not going to share this one because I don't want to mess up the one I just sent you. But remember, all you have to do is come in here, go to configure, and go to a simple 5-day range and do a percentage. And you can do this with a 10-day range. And of course, when you start making your range bigger, you're going to have to make your percentage, your max percentage bigger. Otherwise, you're going to find a lot of buyouts, just gap up and go sideways. But nonetheless, presentation delayed. You know what? I'm looking at my bandwidth. Jamie, I seem to be doing okay. I don't know. Does anybody else feel like it's delayed?
Yeah, we've had a couple of people mention something, and I thought it was just. Remember when I said I thought I was lagging? I thought it was me, but I don't know. There's something going on today.
It's got to be GoToMeeting, because ever since you said that, I've been going up to my bandwidth and trade ideas, and it's been running right around 20, in the low below 50. So I don't know. It could be just a GoToMeeting thing.
It could be, because it's usually not like this.
No, not at all. And I could understand if I was back, in my cowpunk town, but now I'm in rural America with fast internet, so it shouldn't be. Yeah, I don't think
you got off the dial-up finally. That's good.
Yeah, exactly. All right, guys. Well, I tell you what, that just about wraps it up. I will, if you guys want to throw some charts out, me and Jamie will be happy to take a look at them. Yeah, there you go, Joshua. 56K shotgun dial up. But otherwise, I'll give another few seconds here if anybody wants to look at some charts. If not, I'll just bring, since we are having maybe some GoToMeeting delays, I'll just go ahead and bring Scott in. Going once. Going twice. All right. You guys hang on. Okay, ZM. All right. Zoom Media. Well, I think we know what all that looks like. And yes, it's definitely strong. A couple of topping wicks would be my only concern right now. You had a couple of right there and right there where it could not move above that 300 level. So this could be a psychological level where maybe some people are taking profits, but a very strong chart. Just be prepared. You could see a pullback maybe down to this, 10 or 20, but yeah, very strong chart for sure. And somebody asked about sale. Hold on here. Not bad. It held the 10 today. That's important. So in other words, you had a huge gap up right here, and then it finally broke that high right here and been kind of going sideways, tried to sell off today, the 10 period. This has been a big momentum stock. So if you do get a close below this 10 period, you might see, some selling possibly down to that 20 period.
Yeah, because I'm.
Okay, Jim, send that one. Send that one to info@trade-ideas. Scott will give you that email at the end here. Yeah, that's going to require some work. Everything you have there. Yeah, so just send that in to info, and we'll see if we can help you out, get you started on a nice alert. All right, I'm going to do a couple more here. CRM and Exxon. I think I know what Exxon looks like, and I know what CRM looks like. Very strong day after earnings, 2 strong days. You know, there's nothing, you know, maybe, I don't know if you're already in it, but yeah, there's no reason to sell it, in my opinion. Now, if I'm in it from down here and I got some nice profits, maybe I'll sell half. And yeah, I definitely wouldn't short it, that's for sure. It's a very strong chart after earnings, so this could continue, you know, for several days. Who knows? And then Exxon, real quick, just the opposite. You know, this thing's looking pretty weak. Did have a little tail there, but you're down here in a level that if it does break down below this low right here, you could see it possibly go test these lows back over here in March. Got dropped out of the Dow, so yeah, not a lot of good things to say about Exxon right now, except it pays a dividend. Do I think Neil? Yeah, obviously, Adam. I think Neil can keep going. I wouldn't keep it. So I'm not telling you to buy it now, but you know, I'm not looking. But I have a great average. I'm in it around 13, I think 60. So yeah, I think it can keep going. It may pull back and breathe or whatever. All right, guys, great questions. I'm going to bring in Scott, and he's going to walk us out of here. And let's go, Scotty.
All right, yeah, thanks, Sandy. A couple items on the way out. We do have a live broadcast every day at noon Eastern, so join that. Join the daily support sessions. Just go to trade-ideas.com/live to locate that and bookmark it. There's a good ebook about earnings season, since that comes up several times a year. And tradeIdeas.com/earnings is the best place to go for that. Just plug in your email address and get the download link. It's got some cloud links that you can import into your layouts to add to your Trade Ideas account. The Trade Ideas podcast, we release podcasts periodically. Just search for Trade Ideas podcast wherever you listen to your pods. Add us as a subscription. You'll be ready to pick up the next one. Also, check out some of the interviews we've already done this year. There's some good informative ones in there. And the promo code SUMMERTIME saves you 15% off your first month or year of any Trade Ideas subscription or upgrade. So use that code before we change it at the end of summer. You can find Jamie on Twitter at QuantBot. Also find Steve Gomez at Today Trader, and find us at Trade Ideas. And Trade Ideas Pro is the Facebook handle to like and share everything we post with your friends. And any questions, just send them to info@trade-ideas.com. Thanks, Andy. Thanks, Jamie. See you next week.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good Friday and a great weekend.
Bye-bye.